Senator Bennet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for your willingness to serve. Mr. Simmons, the White House recently informed Congress that President Trump has declared us to be at, quote, war with unspecified drug cartels in the Western Hemisphere. Citing new anti-cartel authorities, President Trump also directed airstrikes against boats in the Caribbean, allegedly carrying drug traffickers and narcotics. Mr. Simmons, in your capacity as Principal Deputy Legal Advisor to Secretary Rubio, did you play any role in the deliberations surrounding these new anti-cartel authorities?
Thanks for your question, Senator.
Thank you for being here.
I've advised on a wide range of national security matters while at the State Department.
Did you advise on the anti-cartel authorities that the administration has used? Let me ask you, that the administration has used in part to justify the actions that have been taken against those cartels?
Thanks, Senator. I'm not in a position to discuss the specifics of any internal.
I'm not asking you the specifics other than to ask you if you were involved in those discussions.
Senator, as I said, I'm not in a position to discuss the specifics of internal
I don't know why
deliberations.
you can't tell this committee the answer to that question.
I appreciate that, Senator, and I hope you'll understand the importance of leadership receiving confidential advice.
What is your understanding in front of this committee of the limits on the president's authority to use military force to combat criminal activity like drug trafficking?
Thank you, Senator. I mentioned previously the notice under Section 1230, which stated that it was an exercise of the President's Article 2 authority in self-defense and defense of others against ongoing attacks by designated
terrorists. Is that the advice that you gave to the Secretary of State on this subject?
Senator, these were military strikes conducted by the Department of War, and as I said, the General Counsel of that department.
Is it correct that you didn't have any discussion about this at the State Department?
Senator, as I said, I'm not in a position to. I don't know all of the discussions that may or may not have taken place.
Is it correct that you did not participate in any discussions about this while you were at the State Department?
Senator, as I said, I'm not in a position to discuss any legal advice that I may or may not have provided.
Do you agree that the CIA doesn't have any authority to conduct operations within U.S. borders to counter drug cartels?
Thank you, Senator. I agree that there are significant limitations enshrined in the law with respect to any domestic activities by the CIA.
Do you agree that designating or labeling an organization as a quote-unquote terrorist organization is not in itself a sufficient basis to justify the use of force against that organization?
Thanks for your question, Senator. I mentioned previously the designation, the FTO designation as a foreign terrorist organization, and that assessment, in addition to the point I discussed about requiring a foreign organization, requires that there be terrorist activity and threats against the United States. That FTO designation has a separate legal purpose in the sense that it relates to sanctions, when there's material support. It's a separate legal category than a lawful use of force, but the assessment includes one about threats to United States national security.
Do you believe that designating or labeling an organization as a terrorist organization is itself a sufficient basis to justify the use of force against that organization? Is that your reading of the law?
My reading, specifically on the Foreign Terrorist Organization FTO designation, does not legally have a decisive impact either way on the lawful use of force.
Do you agree, Mr. Simmons, that anti-cartel authorities provide no basis for the administration to justify any actions against its domestic political opponents, whom various administration officials have also designated as terrorists?
Thanks for your question, Senator. I'm not familiar with all of the law around anti-cartel activities. As I said, if the focus is on...
I'm not asking you, this is not a hard question, this is an easy question. So let me ask it again. Do you agree that these so-called anti-cartel authorities provide no basis for the administration to justify any actions against its domestic political opponents, whom various administration officials have also designated as terrorists? I'm asking you for your view as a lawyer.
I'm not sure which anti-cartel authorities you are referring to.
Well, the ones that you and I have been talking about for the last 5 minutes. Mr. Simmons.
Is there a specific statutory provision you have in mind?
I've given you the specific language that the administration has relied on to take the actions that it's taken, and now I'm asking you whether or not the administration could use that, I hear you, Mr. Chairman, I apologize, could use that authority to turn it against its domestic political opponents, some of whom it called terrorists. And I find it very hard to believe that anybody with a law degree, much less somebody with your excellent preparation, can't answer that question directly. And the answer is no. I can't believe that that's not your answer, Mr. Simmons.
Well, I think, as I said, that FTO designation requirement includes as a factor that there be a foreign organization.
I'll take that as a no. Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
Rounds.
Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.